So it's been about a year since I last made my video on the top 5 fountain pens from China under $5, and since then the amount of growth that we've seen from the quality of fountain pens from China is just amazing. Even if you look back maybe 2 or 3 years, the quality that you see nowadays is completely different to the quality that you see back then. Back then you would have to order 5 or 6 different pens just to find one that was usable because the quality control was so poor, and as well as that, you'd end up throwing most of the pens away because honestly they weren't all that good. Nowadays the quality is just amazing. Pens that cost under $5 are rivaling a lot of more expensive pens that you would see from more traditional manufacturers from Europe and Japan. Honestly, the reputation that Chinese fountain pens used to have does not apply to a majority of the great Chinese fountain pens that we see nowadays. And honestly, they are really worth taking a look at. And that's why I wanted to make another list this year, because a lot of the pens that were on the list last year aren't on the list this year. So let's go ahead and jump into the list. Like last year, I've broken the pens up into their categories. Each of them will have their own unique characteristics, which I think is a great selling point. And like last year, I've also named some alternatives to buy. So let's go ahead and jump into the list. First of all, let's talk about pens that have ergonomic grips, because there are some people who do enjoy using pens with ergonomic type grips, and the pen that I would recommend for them is this. This is the Wingsun X715, and I think this is the best pen that has an ergonomic grip. It is a little bit of a clone of a well-known pen called the Lamy All-Star, though this clone is very, very well made and it writes beautifully. First of all, for about $3, you're going to get a full aluminium bodied pen, which is just crazy. It feels very high quality to hold and very high quality to use, and as well as that, it has a very nice ergonomic grip. I'm not the biggest fan of ergonomic grips, but this one is alright. It's very similar to that what you would find on Lamy pens, and if you like them, you will like this pen. As well as that, this has a brilliant nib on it. This has Wingsun's Lamy style nib, and while you don't get too much flex from this nib, it is a little bit soft, so you will get a little bit of bounce. But the thing that I love about these nibs is the fact that they are always butter smooth. They are very, very reliable, and they are a great pickup for about $3.50. Now, an alternative to that pen is this. This is the Jinhua Swan / Jinhua Shark. They're pretty much the same pen, though the only difference between them is that they have a different cap. Though these pens are great alternatives. They have a little bit of a different ergonomic facet. This one here is much more rounded. The one on the Wingsun is much more straight, but this one here is very, very nice. It has Jinhua's nib on it, and like the Jinhua 992, it is very, very well ground. It's very reliable, and as well as that, it is very forgiving for people who are just getting started with fountain pens. It's very, very forgiving on what angle you use, which is very, very nice. It's also very smooth and just a nice writer to use. The next pen that I have on this list is what I would call a durable pen and a pocket pen, and the pen that I have on is called the Ira Eureka pen, and this was one of my favorite pens from 2018. Honestly, this was just an amazing find. For $5, what you were getting is a fully brass fountain pen, which is just crazy. Compare that to the $90 that you would have to spend for a very similar Kaweco Sport brass. This pen is just the bargain of the century, but for $5, you're actually getting a very good writer. The nib on this pen is just amazing. This one here is obviously a number 5, and it's styled to look like Parker nibs, but this one is very smooth and very, very reliable, something that I was not expecting for this pen. It is very nice to write with, though do know when you're going to use this pen. It is a little bit short, it is a pocket pen, and it is going to be very heavy because it is a brass pen, though if you like small brass pens that are incredibly durable, this is a great find. This one here, $5, is something that you cannot go wrong with. Though if you don't want a pen that is small like this pen and you want something big and durable, I think a great choice would be this. This is the Bayor 388. It is a little bit of an older Chinese fountain pen, but I think it is a pen that holds up today. This one here also has a number 5 nib, and this one here isn't all that springy, though for about $3 to $4, what you're going to get is a proper stainless steel bodied fountain pen that is styled to look like a Parker Sonnet, and in terms of ergonomics, it's very, very comfortable to use for long periods of time. Yes, it's not going to be as heavy as the brass pen, though it's going to be incredibly durable and very, very comfortable to hold. In terms of the nib is very reliable and it's actually pretty nice to write with. There's not much flex with it, but it's very nice and it's very well ground. It's smooth, not butter smooth, but you can actually use it for long periods of time. So this is a great choice if you want a larger non-pocket pen that is also very, very durable. The next pen that I have on this list are these. This is the Jinhua X715 and this is the Jinhua X415, and looking at them, while they may look slightly different, they are pretty much the same pen. The only difference is one has a different body and a different grip, though these pens are pretty much identical because they both have the same feed and big number 6 size nib. And number 6 size nibs are actually pretty uncommon to find on Chinese fountain pens. They're much bigger than the nibs that we've seen on the other fountain pens that I've shown so far. And number 6 size nibs are very nice to write with. First of all, because they are so big, they are able to be written with using a much more relaxed writing style, which is very nice for long periods of time. And as well as that, they just look nicer, especially when signing documents. What you want is a pretty big nib, which is certainly what you're going to get for these pens. And the nibs that come on these pens are what I would call average. They're not bad, but they're not great. This one here is a fine nib and it's smooth. It's not terribly flexible, but it is reliable and it does write nicely. Though the things that I love about these pens is the fact that they are so versatile, because number 6 size nibs can easily be swapped out with other number 6 size nibs, and the number of number 6 size nibs out there is just almost endless. And the cool thing is you can get number 6 size nibs that are of high quality stainless steel, or you can go ahead and pick them up in 14 or 18 karat gold, which means you can go ahead, buy this $5 pen, go ahead and buy a nib that's supposed to fit on a $400 pen, chuck it on this pen, and you will have a pen that writes like a $400 pen for a fraction of the cost. These pens are just so versatile. And to prove my point, I've gone ahead and shoved a Zebra G Flex nib on this Jinhua X450, and it fits very, very nicely. It's a little bit tight, but because it's so versatile, it actually works with this, and the result is I can get some crazy line variation from this nib and pen now, which is something that I want from my fountain pens. It is really, really fun to use this, and that just shows the versatility of the Jinhua X715 and Jinhua X415. Next, let's talk about hooded nib fountain pens, and it pretty much describes what it is. The nib is covered by a hood, and what that means is that you'll get a trade-off. You'll get less flex from these nibs, though you will be able to gain writing speed, which is something that some people like, something that some people don't like. Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of hooded nib fountain pens, though I can agree that this pen here, the Jinhua 51A, is one of the best hooded nib fountain pens for under $5. The Jinhua 51A comes with a great hooded nib. This one here is a fine, and it just writes so nicely. This one here actually is butter smooth. It is very, very nice to write with. Yes, you won't get all that much flex, but it just writes so nicely, and you can write pretty fast with it. Though the cool thing that I like about it is it's also very, very comfortable to hold. It is styled to look like a Parker 51 pen, which means you can hold it pretty much anywhere. You can hold it back here, you can hold it right here, and you can hold it right up close to the nib. It really doesn't matter where you hold it, and it will feel very, very comfortable. And as well as that, this pen is well built, and it comes in several finishes for the barrel. For $3, you can get this pen with a plastic barrel. For $5, you can get this pen with a proper wood finish. And for about $6 or $7, you can get this pen with proper resin, which is probably the cheapest resin fountain pen that you can buy. And honestly, looking at them, the resin pens look so nice. A $2 alternative to the Jinhua 51A is this. This is the Jinhua 911, and the Jinhua 911 actually feels very similar to the Jinhua 51A. In fact, it probably uses an almost identical nib. This one here is also hooded. It is fine. It is ground very nicely, though the big difference obviously is the material. The Jinhua 911 is a metal stainless steel bodied fountain pen, which is very, very nice. It feels very high quality and very, very durable. Nothing is going to break this pen, though this pen is also a little bit smaller than the Jinhua 911 in terms of its diameter and its length. So if you want a pen that is more durable and a pen that is slightly smaller in terms of its thickness and length, you might want to go ahead and look at the Jinhua 911. Finally, let's talk about a pen that has no competition, and this is piston fountain pens. And of course, when we talk about piston fountain pens, we have to mention the Wingsung 3008. And the Wingsung 3008 is pretty much the best Chinese fountain pen I have ever used for under $5. This one here, I think, costs about $3, and you cannot go wrong with this pen. And where do I start? First of all, this pen has a piston mechanism, so the ink actually is stored in the barrel, and all you have to do to put ink in the barrel is to twist the end, and that will lower a plunger, and then you suck up ink into the barrel. And that is a pretty cool method to put ink in the pen. Though the thing is, up until this pen was made, the only piston fountain pens that you could get were pens like the TWSBI Eco that cost $50, or the Montblanc pens that cost hundreds of dollars. This was the first fountain pen to ever make a piston, put it in a pen, and sell it for under $50. This fountain pen is nothing short of a miracle, and that alone is something that would almost sell itself. But the cool thing is, this pen was sold with an almost perfect nib. This one here has a Lamy style nib, very similar to that of the Wingsung 6359, and I have no complaints from it. First of all, it is an extra fine nib, though this extra fine nib is just butter smooth. It is such a nice nib to write with. It's very reliable, it's very consistent, and it's just smooth. It really, really is. Yes, there is not much flex from it, but for a pen that is, $3 and has everything else, I really could not ask more from this nib. It's just a great little nib. And as well as that, the quality control on these pens is actually pretty good. I've ordered 3 of these so far, as well as other Wingsung pens, and most of them are defect-free. And as well as that, while this pen is not a looker, the aesthetics of this pen is okay. It's not bad, but it is okay. And in terms of the ergonomics are brilliant for this pen. It is very, very comfortable to hold, and it's very, very durable. What else can I say about this pen? This is one of the best Chinese fountain pens ever made, and for something that only costs $3, I honestly think you cannot go wrong with one of these pens. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this list and the pens that were on this list. And I do want to make it clear that while this list is a top 5 list, this list wasn't in any top 5 order. I really did try to show these pens as pens that have different characteristics that make them great, though if I was to pick out one pen from this list and I was to use it for everyday carry, I would certainly pick out the Wingsung 3008. It has been one of my favorite pens from China for a very long time. It's very reliable, it has a piston mechanism, and I really do enjoy using this pen. Though, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching us, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching.